The Klan has had different views from time to time on lesser issues. The one issue we've never changed on is that of segregation. We believe that God has commanded us to separate ourselves from other races.
What? God commanded him to separate from other races? Where? I checked Bible twice to find where God commanded white Christians to separate from blacks. Somebody must have taught him this, either a parent or a pastor, because no one is born with these kind of disgusting beliefs. However, I understand that a deranged individual like Bill Wilkinson thinks that God commanded him to practice segregation. But what about normal Christians who are sane? But they also did the same thing. Segregation was a social norm in some places, in others, it was written into law.
Well, it depends on your definition of racist. I'm a segregationist, okay? I believe that God has commanded me not to mix with other races. For that reason, I want to have schools where I can send my children to a white school. I want to be able to go to my white neighborhoods, to white businesses, for those things. So if that terms me as a racist, then I'm a racist.
Wait a minute, you can do that, but you can't have tax exemptions in your all-white school. And if it's a public school, now black kids whose parents' taxes pay for that school, they got a right to go to that neighborhood school. Now, if you want an all-white school, all-white academy, you can do that right now. You just don't get a tax exemption for it. So what's your complaint?
You say you can do that. Now, maybe I can, maybe you can, but what about the poor people that don't have the money to send their children to private schools? They can't. They're being deprived the right to practice their religion because they don't have the money to send them to a private school.
This fool is convinced that sending white kids to the schools where black kids also go is against Christianity. Prominent televangelist Jerry Falwell had similar arguments in his 1958 sermon on segregation.
If Chief Justice Warren and his associates had known God's word and had desired to do the Lord's will, I am quite confident that the 1954 decision would never have been made. The facilities should be separate. When God has drawn a line of distinction, we should not attempt to cross that line. The true Negro does not want integration. He realizes his potential is far better among his own race, end quote.
Wow, what a wolf in sheep's clothing. Jerry Falwell was the best example of the false prophets that Jesus was warning about in Matthew 7. They were all convinced that God commanded them to discriminate and segregate.
We believe in God, we believe in the United States of America, and we believe that God has commanded us to separate ourselves from other races. Not because we hate the other races or because we feel that we're better or worse, but because we feel it's God's commandment. And if you criticize that and our religion, then you're criticizing the Christianity for the last 2,000 years.
Some people might say, this was a long time ago, no one holds those beliefs anymore. To them I say, think carefully. Just watch the video of this young man, what he wants to accomplish.
What decade from the past does it look like?
I would say 50s.
50s?
50s.
1850s?
1950s.
1950s. Okay, so 1950s.
Yeah.
Not slavery,
Yeah.
1850s, but pre-civil rights, 1960s.
Yep.
That's like the sweet spot.
It's a happy medium.
It's a happy medium.
Yeah.
Things are separate, but equal.
Yeah.
So next time when prominent Christians say they are opposed to something because of their religion, just question them whether their opposition is because of religion or because of their bigotry and racism. As history shows, Christians have been using God and Bible to support their horrible practices.